Hello to everyone. Welcome to the 2021 virtual edition of the CalRTA Delegate Assembly Convention for the California Retired Teachers Associate. Boy, that's a long sentence. Woo! I'm your state president, Dr. Jim Mahoney, and on behalf of the CalRTA Board of Directors, welcome to the governing body of our association. This assembly is where our voices are heard and affirmed. It's also where the future of your association is charted. At this time, I'd like to recognize the state leadership team that are in attendance today. First of all, your elected state officers. President-elect Ron Breyer is with us. The state treasurer, John Guerra, who you will hear from in a few minutes. The state secretary, Susan Goff. In Area 1, our area directors. Area 1 is Mark Allen. Area 2 is Georgiana Light. I'm going to bring it over here so it looks like I'm looking at you and not out to the side. Area 3, Chuck Denon. Area 4, we have co-directors Pat Seaman and Mary Kay Henderson. In Area 5, we have Steve Click. Area 6, we have Linda Perrier. Area 7, co-directors Greg Barker and Debbie Fleener. In Area 8, Anthony Duarte. Area 9 is Mary Bryant. Area 10 director is Becky Carroll. Area 11 is represented by Kathy O'Leary, and Area 12 is Lynn Chan. Also in attendance, we have some of our past state presidents, Betty Sonicson, Ken Hewitt, Polly Basic, and then also in attendance, we have Elaine Avac. She is the wife of our late state president, George Avac. And now I'd like to introduce our state standing committee chairs. The budget and finance chair is Maria Gilson. The bylaws chair is Peter Paulino. The chair of our communications and technology committee is Jim Sterling. Susan Dixon is the chair of the government relations committee. And Lorraine Martinez chairs the membership recruitment and resources committee. Our nominations and elections chair is Jeanette Gore. Now, welcome to all our state leadership and everybody. I'd also like to take a moment to welcome those of you who are first-time attendees to a state convention. We're tickled to death that you are able to attend, even though you may be in your pajamas or in your slippers. We're glad that you're here and you can take part. Your association leadership welcomes you as our future leaders and heartily endorses your participation. Remember, you are the future of CalRTA. Now, furthermore, I'd like to celebrate the leadership represented in this room, this big virtual room, which is fantastic. I'm glad you're all here. Every one of you is a leader in one way or another. We each have unique talents. Each of us makes an important contribution. And I want each of you to remember that without you, this association would fail. Past President Irene Wetzel once stated that CalRTA has three basic functions. One, to advocate for retirement security. Well, I want to tell you that we do it better than anyone. We're the best. Our people are more active in the issues that concern us than anyone. Number 2 is member action and support. I'm not sure you realize how vital these little things that you do on a daily basis called volunteerism, how important it is to not only your family, your division, your association, but to California as a whole. Last year, our volunteerism was valued at over $55 million. That's a lot of money that went back into the communities throughout the state because of your volunteerism. The third is outreach and service. We reach out to all elements of education in California. We reach out to pre-service, we provide scholarship. We reach out to current educators in terms of teacher grants. We reach out to future retirees in terms of the way that we protect their financial security. And now to the assembly. I call the meeting to order, and the order of business for this session of the Delegate Assembly will be that we will hear a presentation on our proposed 2021-2022 budget, and all delegates will be able to have a chance to vote on that, and I'll go into further after you hear that presentation. And now, without further ado, this is John Guerra. He is the state treasurer, and he'll present the budget. John, it's all yours.
Judy, I turned my camera on, but I don't see me.
You're there.
You're there, John.
Oh, you're there. Good. Then I don't need to see me. I see me all the time. Everybody wanted, or let's say a lot of people thought I had a slide presentation for this, but I do not. I'm going to ad-lib it a little bit, mainly because one of the slide presentations I did yesterday on the whole budget with Maria, my co-partner with the Budget and Finance Committee. So the slide presentation would be a rerun, and I hate reruns. So let me just talk a little bit about yesterday. One of the things I did yesterday, I offered to answer questions on the computer. In other words, if you emailed me your question, I would answer that question. I was very surprised that I did get several questions. And more than that, I had quite a few people that said nobody has ever done that before. They didn't ask a question. They were just thanking me for the offer to answer a question. So I really appreciate that. In response to one of those questions, the question was, if our membership is going down, and it is, it goes down about 1,000, 1,200 a year. Our membership goes down. He wanted to know why our income had increased. Good question. I hadn't even thought of that. But the answer is, last year, our dues were $60 a year. And the reason for that is, that was the year that our dues increase took effect. So for half of the year, we were back at the old $54. And the other half of the year, it was $66. So the total dues was for last year, $60. But this year is the first year that we are in the full $66 dues situation. And therefore, the amount of money that we're getting is increased. So that's the answer to that question. I made some mistakes yesterday when I was talking about the Delegate Assembly for next year. I kept saying that it was in Los Angeles. Well, don't come to Los Angeles, it won't be there. Our convention Delegate Assembly next year is at the Hyatt in Sacramento. And that's right across the street from the Capitol building. So if Newsom is still our governor, you can wave to him across the street. In the May of 23, that's 2 years, it is at LAX. So that's when you should go to Los Angeles. Had a comment on area directors. The total budget for the area directors, all 12 of them, their total budget for next year is about $10,000. The question was, how can people run a division for less than $1,000 a year? Or an area? That budget keeps going down every year. And one of the reasons is when we review the budget, we look at what you had the previous year and how much you spent the previous year. Well, last year, that total budget for the area directors was about $10,000, and they only spent about $7,000. So they're getting enough money. Now, comes to the Fall Leadership Conference. This year, I'm budgeting money for the presidents to be there. Okay, let's say it this way. The Fall Leadership Conference, the current year, we were supposed to have the presidents, but because we had those little virus things going around, we had to cancel that. So we decided to move the presidents to the Delegate Assembly. Well, that's today, and this is not the day to try to find that. So next year, the Budget and Finance Committee, I don't think this is official, but we are projecting that we will have the presidents next May in Sacramento. And that's why we've budgeted about $60,000 for presidents to show up at the Delegate Assembly. That was one of the increases in the budget. This year, as you all know, Zoom became the way that we have meetings. All of our directors meeting, the directors meetings, the executive board, we did not meet face to face. We met by Zoom. And therefore the cost of those meetings was cut severely. So we didn't spend near the amount of money that we had budgeted. You know, it's difficult to look forward a year and a half, 2 years and predict how much you're going to spend for a conference. Then the conference doesn't even happen. So you end up with money left over. Last year, we did have money left over in the budget. And it's not just sitting there in a checking account. We moved quite a chunk of money to our investment account, where we're making a whole lot more money than CD or money markets and so forth. We're not making 0.1%. We're making about 6%. 6% is a whole lot better than what you get at your local bank. So with our investment counselor, he helps with that. In office expenses, you know, in your own household, every year, every 6 months, you get a notice from the electric company or the water company or something saying that we're going to raise your rates. Well, the same thing happens with us. Postage, our postage bills have extremely been running over budget. So we have to budget money extra for that. The telephone, you can bet that goes up. So even though we get less money, our bills keep going up. So the amount of money that we can afford to put in each category gets tighter and tighter. One of the major changes that we did this year was with our contracts. David Walrath has been working with this association for about 20 years. And for the last 8 years that I've been involved, he has never increased his contract. His contract has been $154,000 for the last 8 years. This is the first year that he has asked for an increase. So there was a big chunk of about $10,000 or $12,000 we had to tack in. Also, our director of communications, we are no longer using Debbie Pate Newberry. We're no longer using her on an hour-to-hour, day-to-day billing cycle. We have changed that to a contract. That contract is with a company that Debbie is associated with. And instead of us paying extra for video, photography, setups for videos and so forth, instead of her charging us extra hours to do that, it's all rolled into that one contract. So even though the amount of money that we've budgeted is higher, probably will come out to be a wash, because she does quite a bit of stuff that we never budgeted for, and her budget usually was overspent. Last year, we had a contingency budget. In other words, the pot of money that is there in case we run short. We budgeted $72,000 last year. We spent $0 because we had money to move around. This year, we've budgeted $40,000, 40. That's less, or it's about half. Now, one of our things is we need to increase membership. This year, we started a thing called MEP, Membership Enhancement Program. We offered divisions money to go out and do whatever you want to try to get new members. We try to put the fewest amount of strings on that money. There was no such list as you cannot do this, you cannot do that. You know, you must do this, you must do that. Those restrictions were completely missing. We wanted you to have complete free reign on what you tried to do to get new members, get the cash people switched over to payroll deduction. We lose a whole lot of people that way, by the way. The cash members don't pay up unless they get the third or fourth letter from Johanna, and then we still do not get them all. So that's a very, you might say, wishy-washy group of people. The majority of them do pay, but there's several thousand of those. And for those who don't realize it, the biggest loss in membership we have is that column called deceased. We lose over 1,000, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 members every year as they pass away. So we need to get that many new members just to cover the loss. So membership is extremely important. If we don't start getting new members, we're in big, big trouble. When we set up the Budget and Finance Committee, we meet. This year it was again another one of these Zoom meetings. So difficult to talk numbers and so forth when you're sitting there just watching pictures on a screen. So we do whatever we can with what we have. We try to spread the money around. We try to make sure everybody has enough money to do whatever they want. Remember, projecting forward 1, 2, 3 years, our membership must increase, not decrease. Otherwise, we're going to have to cut some programs, or that bad word, raise dues. We don't want to do that. It's difficult enough for the people that are paying the dues to pay what they're paying, let alone asking them to dig deeper into those pockets. So let's increase the membership, and therefore the budget will take care of itself. I don't know if I see a couple of Q&As. Anybody want to ask a question? Do we have any? If not,
We
I'm
do.
finished.
We do have a couple questions.
Okay.
One is from Susan Massey. She says that she heard yesterday that only 3,000 was allotted for teacher grants. If giving grants is our main way of getting into schools, why don't we spend more money on this?
Okay. Teacher grants. This year we budgeted 8,000. For the current year, as of March 31st, we've spent 7,000. And for next year, we've budgeted 82 or 8,200. In other words, we've increased that budget. Every time we have somebody that runs over budget, I always tell them, just let me know what's happening. We'll find the money somewhere. Again, I talked about that contingency fund. The money that we put in there is for budgets that tend to run higher than we expected. We almost, in fact, as long as I've been doing this, we've always found a way to give them the money that they need. There are several budgets this year that are running well over what was budgeted. But when we get finished with what we do, we just smooth out those by moving money around. Remember, we budget about $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 for a fall leadership conference. It did not happen. So that $70,000 or $80,000 is available for other things. So we just have like an iron. We smooth things out so that everything looks nice and tidy. So, you know, if somebody overspends, it's not a big problem. Questions?
Yes. So the next question is regarding the area director's budget. How many of them have spent money out of their pockets? Also, this past year, money was
probably all 12 of them.
okay. And then they also just commented, which you had mentioned, also this past year, money was not spent due to the coronavirus.
Yeah, that
right.
The vast majority of that went into our investment accounts.
Great. And another question is, in terms of the total budgets, what percentage is put in personnel operations, and yearly contracts?
Oh, that's a good question. I would have to get the calculator out and do that. But those are three of our big expenditures. The personnel is approximately 390,000 just to pay the salaries. And by the way, we are operating with 3 employees who are not even allowed in the office. Our state offices are locked up because of the pandemic thing. They are operating mainly from home, and there's only 3 of them. That's Angelique, Johanna, and Sherry. We have had as many as 4 employees. In other words, the other person wasn't so much assigned particular membership or anything like that, but it was like the secretary, the person who answers the phone, who takes care of the mail. That person we have not rehired when the last one resigned and went somewhere else. But those telephone duties and so forth are now shared between the 3 we have. So we really could use a 4th person in the office, but as of right now, we have not budgeted for it. So even though the salary money is around 380, 390, it could be higher and it would still be legitimate. Does that answer enough of the question?
I believe so. And we have 2 more questions, and then we need to go on to the delegate speeches. So the next question is, do you know how much our locals also give away in teacher grants?
How many teacher grants in the divisions? I would have no idea, because every division sets up its own budget. They set up their own fundraising type things, and they give away teacher grants in various ways. Some give grants of $50, $100, $200. I know that the division that I'm in, our grants are usually $200. And we go out and meet with the staff at the school, present their checks to them. And that's our way of spreading the word about CalRTA. It's really surprising when you go out to schools and you say CalRTA, and the answer is who? They don't have any idea who it is. So we're trying to spread the word, and the teacher grants is one of the best ways we've had of doing that. Next question.
Okay, how many meetings can be held virtually to reduce costs?
How many meetings can be held what?
Virtually, like this one.
You can have as many as you want. If you have a Zoom account, which quite a few of our people have, I think every area and quite a few of the divisions have their own Zoom account. When you get that Zoom account, it only costs about $150 a year. You can have as many meetings as you want. And with the lowest price Zoom account, you can have up to, I think it's 100 people. If you pay more, you can have more. For example, we have about 286 people right now. That's because we have what's called the Pro account, which allows you to have 500, 600 or whatever. But the number of meetings is not a countable type of a thing as far as charging. Okay.
Great. I think that's all the time we have for questions.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to thank John for that presentation. And delegates, I just checked my email, and there is an email to me for me to vote on the budget. I would ask you now to check your email and cast your ballot. Now, the way you do that is you just check your email, you minimize, or you put the conference site or this particular Zoom down and go into your email, find your ballot and vote. If you're a delegate, you should have been sent a ballot by now. Okay, we are going to allow 10 minutes for everybody to go ahead and vote. And then by that time, the vote will be concluded, and I will be given the results of that vote, and I will announce that to this assembly. So we will now have an opportunity for everybody to go vote. And and we'll get back to you. It says they can also, Angelique says you can also, wait a minute, they just went away. Angela, let me get that text back. They can also check your email and vote on their phone. That's how I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote on my iPhone. I just go to my email and vote there. Okay, we have 10 minutes. It's now 9:56 by my clock, and seeing as how I've got the gavel, you got 10 minutes, and then we are going to move on to another announcement, and then we'll have candidate speeches. So I'm going to mute myself and go.
John, we can see you.
Yeah, we can see you. Oops.
No, you can't.
All right.
I'm not going to tell you how I voted.
Yeah, it's a secret ballot, John. None of my business. Point of information for anybody who may be listening. John talked about the teacher grant program, and Angelique tells us that she texted the teacher grant budget line is for Facebook grants only, nothing to do with divisions. Divisions have their own program. This will, we have a nice little lull here, and for anybody that stayed around and is listening, this gives me a chance to highlight one of the biggest facts that some people don't in our association do not know. Talk about Facebook grants. You talk about division teacher grants. We talk about scholarships. We talk about the money we give away. This is huge, and we should be shouting this from the mountaintop. Last year, CalRTA donated teacher grants and division, statewide, scholarships, local and statewide. We gave away over $1 million. Now, that seems like a tremendous amount of money. And you want to know? It is. It's huge. Nobody, and I mean nobody gives away $1 million a year to future teachers, current teachers, and protection of retirees. Nobody. That's something we should be proud of. In addition, we had one division that had a very large gift, and that put us over the $1 million mark. But on a regular basis, we give away, award, however you want to say, donate, whatever, in teacher grants and all of our gifts, upwards of $700,000 a year. Just let that sink in again. You are part of an association that supports education
To get that off
in a manner in which very few, if any, other organizations in the state of California do. So be proud. This is something that's great. Every time you hold any kind of fundraiser, anytime you give away a teacher grant, $100, you know what? Those add up throughout the state. So please be proud of what you do, and know that every time you put a buck in there, or 2 or 5 or 10 or 20, that's over, it adds up 700,000 plus. So be proud of that. Put that in your pocket, and don't let anybody, say who, CalRTA who? Well, have you seen how much we give away? How much does, and there are lots of, we have partner organizations that we work with, retired folks, retired committees. Nobody gives away money like we do. Wow. Huge, big. So when you see that as a line item on the budget, that's what the state organization puts into Facebook grants. That's just Facebook grants. And how many times do we have that cycle? 2, 3 times? So we give that away. CalRTA Foundation is putting about $3,000 into the Facebook grants. So, hey, be proud. It's the way to go. It's now 10:01. You have 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes to vote. Linda Carbajal says to John, just wanted to thank you for your presentation. You explained everything thoroughly and transparently. Thank you, John, for a good job.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, most of us have dealt with budgets, our own personal budgets, but when you're talking about $1.5 to $2 million a year, it's really quite complicated. I'm having another text. I'm hearing that some people that their email was delayed, so you might need to give it a couple more minutes. Okay. This particular venue, this particular method, we haven't done before, so there are going to be glitches. And the company that we have, along with Judy and Kelly and Adrian, they're making it as easy as possible, but they're going to be glitches. So please, we beg your indulgence and hang in there, and we will be able to get this. We'll be able to get this done, and then we'll be able to move on. In about another 60 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and make another announcement, and then we'll move into candidate speeches. So give me about another 2 minutes, and then we'll move along. Okay, thank you.
I can make another comment that
John.
I didn't make this morning. The total budget for Cal RTA that we get new money is approximately $250,000, $250,000. The first thing that we do with that money is to subtract 1/3 of it. In other words, between 700 and 800,000 that the state cannot spend because we shift it back to the divisions. You know, every month the division gets a check. And that's where that money, it's about $750,000 that is subtracted from the income. First thing happens is we subtract that money, goes into a separate pot, and Johanna sends it out every month like clockwork.
Jim, just to let you know, the ballot has extended to 10:30 a.m. So we'll do the announcement at the end of the session after the speeches.
Very good. All right. We're going to make sure that everybody votes, and as many people, and they're working on, our tech people are now working on that. I will tell you, there was a question earlier asking John about personnel costs. What do we spend on personnel costs? Well, he used the figure 390,000. Now, anybody who's ever run a business knows that that's one of the most expensive things in a budget. But $390,000 in a $101.588 million is about 25%. So we are functioning, we are supporting our office and our programs with about 25% personnel cost. That means 75% is going other places, as our programs and other costs associated with the association. And we should be very proud of that, because that gives us opportunities to spend money on our priorities. And right now our priorities are our programs, GRC, MRC, and CTC. So we're spending money, we're being good stewards of the money that we get. So that's another thing to be proud of. We're being very responsible.
There's a thing that on that $380,000 or $90,000, that includes all the fringe benefits. For example, healthcare, retirement, payroll taxes, unemployment insurance, workers' comp. There's about $100,000 just in those costs. So actual salaries is less than 300.
Wow. You heard it from the treasurer. He counts the pennies, nickels, and dimes. And so he's that's your source. Under 300,000, that makes it a lot less than 25%. But a lot of us are familiar with that. If you've ever been on a negotiation team, you know how much those benefits cost. Sometimes those benefits cost can be up to 25 to 28%. So yeah, I make $50,000. And then on top of that, There's another 25,000 for all the retirement, all the taxes, all the benefits, those kinds of things. So when you get into those personnel costs, that's a lot of money. But very fortunately, we're handling that very well. The board has made some very wise decisions based on John's figures and his guidance. And so you should know that we're being very responsible stewards of the association money. Well, I tell you what, let's move on. Then I'll call us back into session. We kind of had a little lapse there. Thanks, John, for your explanation, and thanks you for answering those questions. Now, you should know that something else that happens is during a delegate assembly is the election of a Laura E. Settle regional director. And in this case, the southern seat, there are 3 regional directors in the Laura E. Settle Foundation. That's a foundation associated with the CalRTA. They have 3, and their election is rotating, and we do the electing. And I would like to announce that Catherine Kennard is declared elected by acclamation to the LES Foundation Southern Board. There were no other candidates, and so I announced that we have elected her by acclamation. Okay, now the next order of business is 3-minute speeches and or candidate speeches. We'll now hear 3-minute speeches from each candidate. They will be introduced in reverse alphabetical order. First, we're going to hear from the president-elect candidates, and then the secretary candidates. All right. First of all, I would like to introduce to you our first president-elect candidate, Sylvia Hill. Sylvia, there you go. Come on board. There she is. That is Sylvia Hill, and she is the president of division. Tell me, Sylvia.
12.
12. I almost said 12. I thought it was an even dozen. Yeah. She is the president of Division 12 down in Southern California. And I'm now in our candidates forum, we talked about a stopwatch. Let me get my stopwatch here. I got to do I don't have Ron to hold his hand up in front. So I'm going to be the guy. When you see my face, you'll know that you've got 15 seconds. I'm going to get out of this picture. And Sylvia, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, delegates. I'm happy to meet all of you, and I hope you're happy to meet me. I am going to share the contents of my heart as I share snippets of my specialness. As I thought about running for state president-elect, I was reminded of a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt that said, "You must do the thing you think you cannot do." And as I got bolder, I think maybe I can do it. So I am here, and I am requesting that you hear my little snippets of why I think I'm worthy of being state president-elect. After completing 43 years of service at the education of children in LASD and 14 years of service to Division 12, Area 7, I realized the importance of effective leadership. To me, effective leadership is an asset that is priceless. And I think I have developed that pricelessness. From the moment I became involved with CalRTA, I took on leadership positions and worked my way up through every position, including president of my division, of which I am a 3rd-term president, which means I will be serving my 6th year. As president, I made it to my goal to emphasize our mission statement, which is protect our pension at all costs, protect our pension. That was my cheerleading lead, because I knew that if we didn't protect our pensions, we would have nothing to live on. So therefore, we must do that. That's my first priority. The message was consistent in every contact I made with our state legislatures in Sacramento and in Washington, D.C. And so Social Security fairness became a major cause for me. As a 3rd-term president, I am honored to be serving one of the largest divisions, approximately 1,200 members strong, in the state, encompassing the large school district in our country. I am grateful for the support my board of directors placed in me. We have about 15 board of directors who act as a think tank for me and for all of us in actually adopting many of our projects that we have. Our projects include revamping our scholarship program, and we awarded a whopping $28,000 in 2020 to our high school and college students who are become the next generation of teachers. And about 2 weeks ago, we actually awarded $18,000 worth of scholarships for 2021. So we are really on our way to making the next generation and helping the next generation of students. We awarded grants also to teachers, and we work closely with our principals and our teachers to make sure they have money to do anything they want with their little grants and special kinds of projects. This is actually a fantastic membership opportunity, because what we do is we give free
Right.
memberships, include memberships for those people we give grants for. And believe it or not, they continue the membership. So we're growing our membership.
Thank
Even
you.
though we're losing them through deceased members, we're growing it at the same time.
Thank you, Sylvia.
So I also was a member of the Convention Planning Committee. Is that all?
That's it. Time, Sylvia.
Well, I wasn't finished.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. It goes really quickly. And so
Okay,
when
all
I
right. But
appear,
anyway, please vote for me. I have lots of things that I didn't say, and I can guarantee you that I walk the walk and I talk the talk.
thank you.
Thank you.
The next candidate is Susan Dixon. And just to reiterate, when I show up, you're going to have about 15 seconds left. Okay, so now I will mute myself, and Sylvia, turn off your camera, please, and we'll put Susan.
Thank you, Jim. Hi, my name is Susan Dixon, and I'm the State Chair of Government Relations and a candidate for President-elect. I want to share with you the strengths that I will bring to CalRTA by being the President-elect and the future president of our organization. As a leader, I bring strong organizational skills. I've always embraced leadership positions throughout my 35 years of teaching and the past 6 years in CalRTA. In CalRTA, I immediately brought my knowledge of legislation and leadership to Division 42 and then to the State Government Relations Committee. As state chair during the past 4 years, I've helped strengthen CalRTA's advocacy activities by incorporating weekly legislative alerts, regularly meeting with elected officials, educating our members on legislation through webinars, and I've developed coalitions with other retiree groups in California and throughout our other states. I also developed the Virtual Advocacy Toolkit, scheduled over 70 virtual meetings this past year with California elected officials, members of the Women's Bipartisan Caucus, and out-of-state representatives. And I continue to chair twice monthly meetings with our outstanding, hardworking Government Relations Committee. I'm a forward thinker, highly energetic, and I believe in listening to our members and inspiring others to work toward our goals. This past year showed us how quickly we needed to adapt and be ready to help our organization. As chair of the Government Relations Committee, I quickly organized the social advocacy alerts during the initial shutdown with the goal of keeping our members engaged in fun virtual activities and staying connected. We've also included all of our members who didn't have email accounts in the platform survey by mailing it to them. To be true to my belief in transparency, I led the movement to invite our CalRTA board members to join our second GRC meeting each month. And I meet with our legislative advocates on a weekly basis. As president-elect, I'll bring this high energy organization and forward thinking to CalRTA. It is important we recognize the needs and empower all of our members and ensure their involvement, whether it's virtual or in person. Along with these leadership skills, I'm able to bring the relationships I've developed with key organizations that affect our pensions, such as CalSTRS and other retiree groups, elected officials and their staffs, my understanding of our platform, board policy, and decision-making skills. I'm a visionary and a passionate leader who who truly believes in the original mission of Laura E. Settle, that we are here on our own to protect and advocate for our future active and retired educators' retirement security. I hope to get your support and vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. That's terrific. And those, Sylvia and Susan, are the candidates that are running for CalRTA state president-elect. We are now going to move to the second position of secretary. First, we'll have Pat Seaman, then Lorraine Martinez, and then Susan Goff. So at this time, once again, when you see my face, I'll hold up my hand. That means you have 15 seconds left, and then we'll move along. First is Pat, and she is currently the director, area director for Area 4. Pat, it's all yours, Pat. Take it away. You're looking good.
Oh, thank you. Good morning. What an exciting way to hold this delegate assembly. Many of you know me by the many CalRTA projects that I've done. Many of you have received emails telling you about my past contributions to CalRTA and my leadership background. But here's two things that I did not mention in those emails. First, in the last 6 years, I've managed 7 divisions in Area 4, that is Contra Costa and Alameda County, attending their membership meetings, advising them at board meetings, and organizing fall and spring workshops. As an area director, I've attended CalRTA board meetings also, and gained valuable understanding as to how CalRTA operates. Second, I've been active in all 3 program committees. My first state level experience was with the membership committee. I'm a regular attendee at the CTC committee, and I've attended 3 lobby days in Washington, D.C. and 4 advocacy days in Sacramento, as well as local town halls with legislators. But the secretary position of CalRTA is a different and important position. The secretary, of course, takes minutes, but they are also on the executive committee and have a vote on the board. The secretary needs to be knowledgeable about the organization and able to work cooperatively with other CalRTA leaders and the staff. Here are some ideas that I would like to promote as CalRTA secretary. For sure, minutes need to be clear, accurate, and easy to find important information immediately. Imagine having past minutes and all administrative documents indexed so they can be referenced in real time during the board meetings. Second, as secretary, I would support procedures that would allow more members to know what's going on at the board level. Imagine all CalRTA members knowing what's going on at the board meeting because the minutes are in the Contact magazine. Contact goes to all members and does not require any computer skills. Furthermore, I would like to promote the 3 program committee chairs having more voice in board meetings. But of course, this would be a board decision. Finally, I've been a CalRTA member since 2005. And promoting this organization is a hobby of mine. I am passionate and energetic, and new ideas don't scare me. I want to continue to work for you. Please vote today for Pat Seaman as CalRTA secretary.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate that. Really good job. And now our next candidate is Lorraine Martinez. She is currently the chair of the Membership Recruitment and Resources Committee. And it's a real tongue twister. I don't know how she does it time after time, but let's give her the floor. Lorraine?
Good morning. Good morning, CalRTA delegates. I am Lorraine Martinez, and I want to be your next state board secretary. I retired in 2017 after teaching over 35 years in Santa Rosa City Schools. After retirement, I was encouraged to join CalRTA. Not having heard much about the organization during my teaching years, I attended a luncheon and it was fun. I decided to join Sonoma County Division 39 and was invited to attend a board meeting. Then I chose to become a member at large. on the board, and now I am co-president. I love being involved. I was asked by President Mahoney to become your membership recruitment and resource chair during his tenure. I accepted and joined this amazing group of MRRC area representatives to look at the challenges of recruitment and retention. Many of you have met me when I traveled to your area to present about membership. I truly enjoyed meeting you and sharing ideas and experiences. I have met and been inspired by you. To make this committee on par with the other two state committees, I began to hold monthly meetings and decided to send out a monthly connections newsletter, which is sent to each division. I have been an observer at the state board meetings the last 2 years and have discovered that I want to become more involved and have a voice. Crazy, right? Who wants to take on more as a retiree? Well, I do. I keep hearing about getting new people involved in our organization. Well, here is your opportunity to bring in a new voice with a ton of experience as a leader. Diversity is important in every organization, and I would bring that to the board. Still connected to working educators, I am aware of the changes that are occurring. I know CalRTA is not 100% known throughout California, and I am committed to helping make our name and logo immediately recognizable. I bring the chance to have a well-trained secretary ready to work on your behalf. Having been trained on topics such as organizing, unconscious bias training, eliminating bias, minority leadership involvement, and other pertinent topics, I want to share my knowledge with you. I understand how large organizations are run to be effective for their members. Regardless of where you are in our great state, know that what I have to offer will benefit all members. Effective communication is my main goal if elected. Divisions have to know what is happening, and we need to share our successes with you. Second goal is making sure members are utilizing the website to take advantage of all it has to offer. In closing, I am always open for possibilities and choices to make CalRTA the #1 retired educators organization. My mind is ready for learning and creating opportunities for you. I know you will not be disappointed if you discover the possibilities with Lorraine Martinez as your next CalRTA secretary. Thank you so much. Toodles.
Thank you, Lorraine. That's nice. I appreciate that. And our third candidate for this position is our current CalRTA State Secretary, Susan Goff. Susan, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First, I want to thank you all for the privilege of serving as your state secretary for the last 4 years. It has been my pleasure, my honor, and my joy. I've been a member of CalRTA since 1987. My first involvement was to represent one of our benefit providers whose programs improve the quality of the lives of our members. Then I served for 14 years as your executive director before hiring Angelique Hill, our current CEO. I represented Area 8 on the state membership committee for 7 years. You see, I have never been able to put CalRTA aside and walk away. I am committed to our cause, our mission, and our future. I've been active at all levels of our association. At the division level, I've served in several officer and leadership positions. I've documented and kept records for Division 1, our organization's first division. I seek re-election because of my experience and knowledge about CRTA. It is second to none. I have watched this group of dedicated volunteers go from a small collection of retirees into the major force for political and legislative action that it is today. This work needs to continue, and I am uniquely qualified to carry on your efforts. As secretary, I am ready to take your concerns and ideas to the board of directors. There, I will continue to contribute to the consensus building that results from us listening to you. And the one way you know we are listening is by accurate recording of the minutes. And no one has more experience or knows how to do that better. Steve Reeves, the late great Superman, told a graduating class to go out and have fun. Seems an odd thing to say on such a solemn occasion, but here's what he meant. In the deepest sense of the term, having fun means honoring commitment, doing what is right because it is right. And while that may not seem the easy way, in the long run, it is the fun way to order one's life. In that sense, I want us to go out and have fun too. Dale Carnegie said, people rarely succeed unless they are having fun in what they are doing. I ask you to cast your vote for me, and together we can accomplish our very worthy goals and have fun in the job as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Great messages. And that concludes the 3-minute candidate speeches. I want to thank all the candidates for their words of encouragement and optimism. You are a clear illustration of the quality of the leadership we have. As we prepare to go to our caucuses, we should be mindful of the responsibility we will exercise. CalRTA enjoys a well-known reputation in California and across the nation. That is an important thing you all should remember. Across the nation, we're impactful. We have an impact. We're well known for addressing the issue of retirement security. The team of state officers you select will lead our association to guard teacher pensions and improve the quality of our members' lives. So you will be electing people that are going to watch out over the quality of your life and advocate for your well-being. Now, after a brief recess, be a little bit more than brief, it will be time for you to attend your area caucuses. Your area directors will undoubtedly have an agenda for that meeting. It will also be a time for you to renew friendships and meet new members. Take time to visit and chat with those in attendance. Just a footnote, we have one of our board members, Steve Click, who really enjoys coming to these conferences so he can renew friendships. And that's a very good point. So when you get into your caucus, take some time to chat and catch up with friends. These caucuses are for you guys. That's for your area directors to work with you. You're closer to most of the people in the state. So renew those friendships and meet new people in attendance. At this time, the business of this assembly is concluded. Now, your area caucuses will begin at 11:30. Well, it's 10:30. Now, I'm gonna ask my techie here, because we delayed the election until 10:30. So your caucuses are going to begin in an hour. They'll give you time to go get a snack, get whatever. Okay. I want to thank you. Before I adjourn, I'm going to ask Judy, have we concluded the election?
It's now concluded. They're processing it, and I was instructed that they will be emailing it to you momentarily in 60 seconds. So if you could just keep chatting for a moment.
Okay. La da 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 la da da. Oh, I'm just wasting a little time here. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Nothing yet.
You can share with everybody your talent as part of a barbershop quartet.
Yeah, barbershop. Well, I was put up the wrong hand on doing it. That's my barbershop quartet. It's called Time in a Bottle. And we sang, we even competed at the district level, and we were going to compete at the section level and the district level. And unfortunately, one of our members passed away. He was an enthusiastic motorcycle rider. He had a Honda Goldwing that he rode over 100,000 miles. And unfortunately, there was a woman there with a suspended license that should not have been on the road. She blew through a light and killed him. And so I will get back into that. barbershop is a wonderful form of entertainment. And, you know, there are some people here in Area 6 that, Area 6 and that maybe we can get a barbershop quartet, and a future time when we meet together, we'll have another talent show and we'll be able to sing some barbershop for the rest of the members in attendance. I wanted to,
Jim,
yep,
Jim, would you like to give us a quick a tutorial on how to get into our caucuses the easy way?
the easy way
Yeah, well, there has to be two ways, an easy way and a
and a hard way.
Yeah,
You go into, Judy will help me with this because I think you just, it's a session, is it not?
Yes, it's a session, and you, based on the area that you submitted when you registered, you should see one of three groupings, either areas 1 through 4, areas 5 through 8, or areas 9 through 12. And you select that session and you enter it just like any other sessions that you've been attending so far.
Okay,
And Jim, that the election results have been emailed to you.
okay. Now, let's see. I'm opening the budget results on.
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
As Jim opens that, I want to also let everybody know, once you are in your group area of areas 1 through 4, areas 5 through 8, or areas 9 through 12, you will then from that session be dispersed into breakouts for your specific area caucus.
All right.
thank you, Judy.
My
You can
pleasure.
look, I can look at this, and now I'm gonna try and do it. Okay, come on, baby. Tell me, let's see if I can get a. Okay, now,
Also, while you're, one more note to share. The candidate ballots have not been emailed out yet. They will be released when the caucuses begin. So you cannot vote for state elections yet.
all right, thank you. All right, it has been emailed me to the results of the balloting, and I will announce to the assembly, you have approved the budget for 2021 to 2022. The numbers are 221 to 5. The ayes have it. The budget is adopted, and it will be implemented at the beginning of our fiscal year. And I had to get out the microscope so I could see the numbers on my phone. Wow, that's an interesting thing. Okay, so now our business is concluded, and you guys take about 45 minutes to 50 minutes, get yourself something to eat, go potty, and then go to your sessions, go to your area caucuses, and renew those friendships. You know, Steve Click will not be happy unless you do that, and I wouldn't be happy either. I want you to meet those old friends, renew your acquaintances, and get some business done for your areas. That's important. So on behalf of the board of directors, this delegate assembly is adjourned.